Good day, my dear grade 9 learners. How's your self-learning so far? Did your parents or siblings help you understand your lessons? How about a tutor? Or are you just doing it alone? If that's the case, don't worry because I am here and I'm willing to help you. By the way, I am Teacher Bless and I'll be your teacher for this few video lessons in basic trigonometry. Are you ready? Let's go! I have here two moving pictures. All you need to do is to observe or you can also follow them. Let's have the first one. There you go. And we have here another. All right. Every day, we tend to look on things around us. Sometimes we need to look up and sometimes we need to look down. Why do we need to look up and why do we need to look down? Have you tried thinking that one? All right. So, we need to look up for us to see the things above us. And we tried to look down for us to see the things below us. Now, as we look up and as we look down, there are angles there that are formed. These angles are what we call angles of elevation and depression. For this video lesson, we will be focusing our attention with these two lesson objectives. The first one, we are going to illustrate angles of elevation and depression. Secondly, we are going to identify angles of elevation and depression. Let's start with the first example. There you go. So I hope you're familiar with this place. It's a module day and it's your time to go to school. On your way to your classroom, you pass in this ground. Suppose that this is you. As a person, if we are going to look straight, there is this imaginary line that is formed, which is our eye level. This imaginary line is what we call the horizontal line. Now, as you walk in this ground, you observe that there is this bird that's flying over you. And you also observe that there is this dog that is coming towards you. The question is, what are you going to do to see the bird and to see the dog? Okay? For you to see the bird, you need to look up. Now, as you look up, there is this line that is formed. This one here. And for you to see the dog, there is this line that is formed as you look down. Now, this line here is what we call the line of sight. This one is the line of sight, and another line of sight is this one. Now, as you look up and as you look down, there is this angle that is formed. Let's begin as you look up. This angle here. This angle is what we call angle of elevation. And the angle that is formed as you look down, this angle here is what we call the angle of depression. See, even in our simple life experiences, we can see angles of elevation and depression. Let's have another illustration. Suppose that you're done picking up with your modules. So it's your time to go home. Now, before you go home, you observe that your classmate is in the second floor, right? For you to say goodbye, what are you going to do? And for your classmate to say goodbye to you, What does she needs to do? Let's begin with these lines that are formed. As a person, once again, you have your eye level. And that is the imaginary line that is formed if you are going to look straight. For instance, in this illustration. Okay? And then here, for your classmate who's in the second floor, this is her eye level. And once again, how do you call these lines? These are your horizontal lines. Okay. Now, for you to see your classmate, what are you going to do? You're going to, very good, you need to look up. And for your classmate to see you, of course, she needs to look down. So as you look up and as she looked down, there is this line that is formed. And once again, how do you call this one? Very good. This is your line of sight. Now, as you look up, we have this angle that is formed between your horizontal line and your line of sight. How do you call this angle? Angle of elevation. And for your classmate to see you, which is in the ground, she needs to look down. And as she looks down, there is this angle that is formed. This angle is what we call the angle of depression. All right, so based on the two illustrations that I presented, what is then an angle of elevation, an angle of depression, and what is also your line of sight? Let's define them one at a time. We have here angle of elevation. So the word here is elevation. And the root word for that is elevate, meaning to lift up. Angle of depression, from the word depress, meaning down. Now let's have the formal definition of angle of elevation. This is the angle formed between the horizontal and the new line of sight to an object located above the horizontal. So you have here the key term above. When we say angle of depression, it is the angle that is formed between the horizontal line and your new line of sight to an object. Take note, located below the horizontal. So you have here the two key terms, elevation that is above, depression that is below. And when we say line of sight, this is the line which is drawn from the eyes of the observer to the point being viewed on the object. Is that clear? I hope so. Let's try this activity. Here, given the illustration below, identify the segment that represent the line of sight and the angles of elevation or depression. Okay, try to consider this picture. I know you're familiar with this because this is taken in your Gulayan ng Paaralan. Okay, so as you can see here, we have a ladder and then there is a guava tree there. Now, how do you call this angle? This is your angle of elevation. Very good. How about this angle? Here. This is your angle of depression. Now, how about the ladder? What does the ladder represent? This is your, very good, the line of sight. Okay, I hope this is clear to everyone. Feel free to watch this video once again. You can also pause or you can also replay for those sections that is confusing for you or for those sections that you are not able to understand properly. That's all for this session. See you on our second video. Goodbye and have a nice future.